As usual with the Promised Neverland, there's always tons of information they give us in the episodes, and we could go on for like half an hour about what's happening, but so we have to start right now so that we don't have to go that long. So I'm gonna talk about it in two different parts because there's two different stories that are happening at the same time in the beginning, the first 15 minutes, and then they converge. So I'm just gonna tell one story first, and then the second one as two separate ones, and then meet in the middle. So let's start with Emma, Norman, and Ray. So let's actually go back and talk about the cock tease that we got, where we saw Don and Gilda, we saw the door open, they thought it was going to be someone, and lo and behold, it was Phil. That's all it was. But Phil actually becomes more important later on in this episode. So anyway, so let's start with Emma, Norman, and Ray. So they have a meeting where they talk about what they need to do to escape, and there's three things that Norman says. Right? They have to get over the wall and escape. 2, get away from the farm safely, and then 3, establish a way to survive outside and become self-reliant. And they're trying to figure out, okay, we have the first step done, now we have to figure out how to do step 2 and 3. And while they're thinking of when they're going to scope out the wall, Emma tells them that she wants them to meet someone, and she leads them to the library where she shows them all these different books that have this stamp of an owl on there. And it shows that all these books were previously owned by someone named William Minerva. Now, if you remember correctly, in the openings, then the analysis that I did, you saw the William Minerva little stamp in the background when it focuses on Norman. So, showing us that this is very important. So, with all these stamps, Emma tells Norman that they all have a message on them, and he's like, I don't see any message on there. And then they look around the circle that's around the owl, and everything, each one is different, and they find it's a Morse code. So they get a book that has the Morse code translations or how to read it, and they start reading things. And so they start reading what's on the stamps, and some of them say like farm, they say demon, monster, freedom, all this other stuff. And so they come to the conclusion that this person could be an ally. Now, it's a possibility, and Emma more is like, no, it's for sure this is an ally. But Ray's a little bit more skeptical. He's like, it could be one, and that's what we're gonna hope for. And as they're like reading these books, they see that all of them are like, and what happened with Ray, he said that all this stuff, all the books we've had, it doesn't go anything before 2015, and that's confirmed in the book that they're reading. And then Emma points it out, like, it just says after 2015, and then just has his little stamp on there. Then they go on to see they've read all the books or the stamps except for 2, and Emma says these 2 are very different. There's one that has no code on it, and the other one has a Morse code that I don't understand. And so he says one of the books is an adventure book, and the other one is a mythology book. And then, like I said, there's one that says no mark, and the other one says promise. And so they're like, this has to mean something. And these books are going to be very helpful for them in the future. For those of you who read the manga, but obviously the foreshadowing they're doing with these books, like these books have to be something very important. And again, they explain that a lot, I think later on in the series. But anyway, so that's their whole take on this, and they're gonna go report this and tell they'll probably tell Don and Gilda about what they found. So that's the first part. That's the whole story of Emma, Norman, and Ray. So now we're gonna go a little backwards and start with Don and Gilda. So as you know, Don wants to find out what happened to Connie, and despite Ray saying don't go into the room, like it's just the risks are too high, he gets impatient and he steals the key from Mama. He shows Gilda and tells Gilda we're gonna go into that room. So they go into the office. They push the staircase back and they enter the room that's hidden. They go inside. They go down and they see all these toys, and Dawn instantly recognizes Connie's little bunny, and they're like, why? Like, and that's confirming like what they're telling them was true. And Gilda also points out there's all these other toys here as well, and they're all from children that have left the farm. And at this point, Dawn starts telling Gilda, like, I think they're lying to us. I think they're already dead. And Gilda's like, no, they can't be. They told us they're alive. No, they're lying to us. Like, they don't believe in us. There's an actual truth, and they're not telling us. I think they're thinking at this point that they're just being killed off. They don't know anything about what Emma and Norman saw. But anyway, as they're rummaging through there, they come across a transmitter, and now they're wondering, who the heck is Mama communicating with? And as he's trying to rack his brain who she could be talking with, and trying to understand the fact that Mama is not an ally of theirs, they start hearing Mama upstairs in her office, and they're scared. Like, they're like, they don't know what they're gonna do, so they try and go up the stairs, and as they're closing the bookcase, they make a noise, and you see Mama, she's just like, she hears it, and she wants to go and open up her side of the staircase to see what's going on. And just as she's about to, one of the children bursts through her door, and his name is Eugene, and he hands Mama the key. And she is pissed. She's so mad. She looks at it with these glaring eyes at the keys, like, how the heck? I don't think she even knew that it was gone, because you see her like, what the heck? And she tries to reach for her in her pocket, and not there. So now she's way more suspicious, like, what the heck happened? How did I lose the key? So anyway, so those are the two separate ones. Now we are gonna combine them together. So what happens now is, when during dinner time, Dawn confronts Emma, Norman, and Ray, and basically after dinner, when it's after dark and after lights out, they go into the dining room, and Dawn tells them, like, you need to tell me the truth. Like, don't sugarcoat this. They're dead. Like, don't tell me that they're alive, that there's a chance. Let's go save them. Don't give me that crap. Emma feels very sorry, and she says, all right, let's tell you the truth. And Dawn and Gilda are horrified. Like, you see their faces, and they're in shock. They're like, a farm, these demons, and all we are cattle to be eaten. And Dawn loses it. Dawn just starts laughing, and then he punches Norman and Ray. And then he grabs Emma, and he's about to punch her, but then he stops, and he basically gets very emotional, saying, why he asks, like, why do you think we're someone who needs to be protected and not trusted? But do you really see us as a burden? And that actually really hurts Emma. And he says some words like, aren't we family? Aren't we siblings? Aren't we supposed to, like, to trust each other? And I think that hurt Emma the most. I think she would have rather been punched like a few times than hear that. And it just destroyed her. And he runs out. And as he runs out, Gilda follows him. And there's a little bit of self-reflection in Dawn, where he's stating, like, I lashed out at them, and and it's not because I'm mad at them. It's mad because they're right. Like, I am weak. I am powerless. I couldn't do anything. He couldn't do anything to stop Connie from getting eaten. He couldn't stop. He's just not strong. And I don't think it's more of his strength, but really there was nothing that could be done. And so he doesn't really resent Emma, Norman, and Ray for that. He's more just upset that he can't do anything, and he desires to be stronger. But they finally make up. Emma, Norman, and even Ray, they apologize for for how they kept the secret from them, and then they make up, and that's that. However, at the very last scene of when they're outside talking to each other, the scene is seen through a window, and it's seen through the dining room window. And so this scene is very important because it ties in to the end of the episode. Oh, and one more thing, because I was mentioning Phil. Phil is actually important because he's also the one that pointed out the Morse code to Emma. So it wasn't Emma who figured it out, it was Phil. So Phil is getting a lot of screen time. Again, foreshadowing that he might have more of an important role later on. But anyway, so the next day, they talk about what they're gonna do, and Norman asks for like herbicide and detergent, and wants to give fake information to Mama through Ray, basically stating, well, I'll get to that later. But anyway, as Ray goes to report to Mama, Norman kind of goes rummaging through Ray's stuff, and behind his bed he finds this loose floorboard, And he opens it up and he starts. He looks shocked and he's dumbfounded. And then he quotes something that Ray stated where he says, "I'm doing all this so that neither of you two get killed." And he says, "This is what you were planning, Ray." And he gets teary-eyed. And you see, like, from the perspective of being inside that little floorboard looking up. So you see these canteens or cans. And you're like, what is Ray planning on doing? Now, if you read the manga, you know what it is. If you haven't, though, I'm not going to spoil it to you. But Norman knows. Norman knows what Ray's planning on doing. You can already tell from there. So we're gonna have to figure out what's gonna happen then. If Norman's gonna confront Ray about it, or if he's just gonna ignore it or pretend like he never saw it. So then Ray reports. So after this, Ray reports to Mama saying that Norman's gonna try and kill her, and she's like, "Oh, okay." As expected of Norman. And then she says the next shipment day is going to be in January when Ray turns 12. So basically stating, your time's done. You're heading out of here. The episode finally ends with everyone but Ray, because Ray's with Mama, going to check the wall and see what they need to do. And then as they're passing this tree, you see Sister Cronin. And she looks so devilish and so, like, menacing. And she confronts them. She's like, "I know that you know about the secret of the farm." And she says that she saw them in the dining room. And again, showing that it was Sister Crone who was looking through the window at them. And then she drops bombshells. Instead of, like, stating that she's going to tell Mama or get the demons or have them shipped early, she says, "How about we become allies and join forces?" And that's where it ends. So, again, lots of stuff happened in this episode. And a lot of stuff that you could watch a few times and catch more of the foreshadowing or more of the clues of showing us what's going to happen near the end. What are they ultimately planning on doing to end this series or this season? Hopefully, like, I think it's slated for only 12 episodes or 13 episodes. So hopefully it does well in the Blu-rays and in the showings that they get the second season. Because the manga, I think it's in its final arc, so it should be finishing maybe, I don't know, in a year, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, don't know. But great episode. Again, I love watching The Promised Neverland. They don't disappoint. Every week I am just amazed at how they do the adaptation of the source material, and I love the source material, but watching it in an anime adaptation is just amazing, and how faithful they are. Again, they move some stuff around of when information is revealed, which I think is going to work great in the anime. So just stay tuned for that. So let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, comment, and yeah, thanks for listening. This is David the Smash Fan, and I'm out.